Today we're a little bit less theoretical and a bit more tactical.
Yeah, we're talking teleprompters. You've used teleprompters before.
I am using one right now.
Actually, we're not, but we're going to show you and we're going to demonstrate for you how to use a teleprompter.
If you're new or old in YouTubing, I'm going to talk a little bit about teleprompters today and the use of this really cool technology that recently app developers and others have made it so easy for YouTube.
Yeah, it's become a lot
hosts.
easier.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend this for new and experienced people. Just to watch this, see what we're going to show. I'm actually going to demonstrate a really cool teleprompter that you're really going to enjoy. But I want to introduce it by talking about some pros and cons of when and why we should use a teleprompter, maybe what reasons we shouldn't use a teleprompter. So
Start with the pros.
let's start with the pros.
Yeah.
So one, it gives you great confidence.
Definitely.
If you have a fear of being in front of the camera, you don't know what to say, you're going to be doing lots of takes. Confidence, I mean, you already have it scripted out. You just have to read the words.
Not a problem, especially if you're the one that's written it. It's your own stuff already anyway. Off you go.
So you can also be a lot more intentional. So if you're doing a promo video and you want to script it out, take somebody through a kind of a sales conversation, get somebody engaged emotionally, it's harder to do that when you're just off the cuff or you're just going by points. If you have it scripted, you know exactly what to say. You know, you put in the right words.
Yeah, makes sense.
So you can be a lot more intentional. And I mentioned, you know, the takes. If you're scripted, you know what you're going to say. It'll take less takes. You don't have to start over and I want to say that better because it's
Been
already
there, done that. Yes.
What about stress?
You know, when I use a teleprompter, because I do a lot of professional stuff as well that's broadcast or whatever, the stress of thinking that I have to memorize or at least capture the gist of a lot of things does give me a lot more nervousness. And to be able to just stare into the lens like I'm talking to you right now and read these words certainly makes it a lot less stressful. It takes away a lot of that energy that you don't need, especially if you're shooting a lot of videos in one setting.
And the last point I'll say, I called better content, but that not necessarily, because sometimes when it's more conversational, that has a lot of value in itself. But what I mean in this case is you can make it more concise. You can make sure you're hitting all your points, and so you can provide a complete picture, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely.
So now let's talk about some of the cons. It takes time to write a script.
It does.
If I'm going to write a video and write 5 bullet points, yeah, that might take me a minute or so just to think of the points. But if I'm going to script it out, for me, that's at least an hour.
Yeah, right now, if you can't guess, we're not on teleprompter. I mean, this is all very much bullet points that we have on a computer underneath the screen. But that makes it very conversational, and like you say, anything can come up. And it's a lot quicker this way.
And it's with the teleprompter, it's easy to lose energy because you can just get into reading mode.
Talking head.
It's really easy to read, and you can have a really boring voice when you're reading.
And it can get, and actually the movement can get a little hypnotic as well. If there's a lot of copy on the screen at once, or it really doesn't matter, but if it's moving at a certain pace and rhythm, it can be challenging to keep you awake. Yeah.
Yeah, and then eye movements, depending on the teleprompter, depending on how close you are to the camera. Sometimes people will see your eyes moving back and forth, and they're like, "Is he reading?"
Yeah, the illusion is blown. Yeah.
So, but we have some. But I have a teleprompter I'm going to show you that works really, really well, and we're going to demonstrate how to use a teleprompter correctly. You're going to be the guinea pig, so you better be a good example.
I'm in.
So I've got my camera here. It's a DSLR. This is a wide lens, but it's also a big lens. Big is important because if your eyes are moving back and forth in here, you're looking at the lens no matter. So you got a big area that you can look at. Versus if I were to be filming on the camera on my phone, if I'm looking over here. So anyway, check this out. This is the teleprompter. This little box, and in fact, it's got a cover on it. So the trick is there's the beam splitter glass. It's basically a glass with a special coating on it that's really reflective on one side.
Right.
And this
because the lens needs to see through it.
Yes. So
clearly.
This attaches to the lens. So the lens goes through it, but then here, can you assist me? Just put the camera or the phone. Just set it in here.
Oh, in here.
Yeah, like that.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
In fact, let me.
I'm learning
on camera.
along with you. I've
you-
seen other versions, and this is really
You
cool.
can see my lock screen or my wallpaper. So it just reflects that, oh, it turned off. Let me bring up a script now, and I'm going to hit play. So I'm going to hold this up here, get it to focus on that. Here, you hold this, and you hold it up close, and I'll make sure the focus goes on the... Okay, so you can see the words scrolling there. Angle it down a little bit because of the glare. There we go. So anyway, you're basically reading the words of the script as they scroll along, and you can change the font size so it's reflecting from the phone up to that glass, but the camera's just filming right through it, so you're looking right at the lens.
Just like you're reading the television news.
So I want to show you a different app. I'm using this app right here. It just has it scroll, and you can control the speed.
And it's fairly slow.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
you can speed it up, slow it down, just whatever your talking speed is. But I'm going to switch to a different app. So now I've switched it to another app that I forget the name of it. I'll put a link in the description for this app. But it moves automatically with your talking. So how can we demonstrate it and show the automatic?
Well, I'll do it.
Scott and I were trying to figure out how to show this to you and demonstrate what we're seeing here, and I can't figure out how to do it. So I'll just describe what it does. It moves when you read the words. So
it's voice activated.
It's voice activated.
And it recognizes the words that I'm using.
And so if he wants to talk slower and pause, it'll just wait.
So
and then as he says it, it will then catch up.
Yeah.
Okay, this is how not to first. How not to read from a teleprompter. So this is just a script that I grabbed. So if you're watching this because you're suffering from morning sickness and looking for help, when I say I feel your pain, I mean it. What is MS? Nausea during pregnancy.
Okay, that's bad.
That is bad. Okay.
Go back to where you were, and now let me... See, I don't know how to do it wrong. I've never been taught that. So if you are watching this because you're suffering from morning sickness and looking for help, when I say I feel your pain, I mean it. What is MS? Nausea during pregnancy, which can be mild or severe, often accompanied by other digestive issues like indigestion, acid reflux, heartburn. These are just so many good things I want to talk about. But it's cool, though. May I just say as a witness to this that it is moving with me as I go, which normally that requires a whole other warm-bodied person to sit there and be the teleprompter operator. I've worked with them for years. They're normally union guys, don't have great personalities, but they do know how to follow you. In this case, working on your own, it's doing it for you, which is great, because I've used other teleprompter apps for some of my stuff, and I have to just set it at a constant speed. And sometimes it's going too slow, and I have to stop and fix it and put it a little, and vice versa. So this is great.
So in the past, I had another teleprompter that was a big box. It had a lid that had the special glass on it. You put your iPad inside it or your phone inside that would reflect it up, which sometimes there'd be a big projector. But in my case, I still used an iPad, and then I put my camera behind it on a different tripod and had a big black cloth over the top of it. And somebody asked me the other day, hey, can I borrow your teleprompter? And I'm like, I don't lend out my stuff. And then I thought, you know what, I've got that old one. So I let him borrow my old one, and he hasn't returned it. That's why I don't lend out my stuff. But if you're watching this video, give me back my other teleprompter.
Yeah, will you? But no, you don't need it now. It's so obsolete. This is so easy.
But this one, because it attaches to the lens, it shades out the background. It's amazing. Now, for those of you who still aren't convinced, you're probably not watching this video. So maybe I'm talking to people who aren't watching this video. But if you are really confident on camera, you feel like you don't need a teleprompter, I bet you still write bullet points down on a screen or on a whiteboard or something like that. So with one of my clients that's that way, he was anti-teleprompter. I put up a few bullet points. His script on the screen was just the bullet points.
Beautiful.
And we filmed it, and he's like, that was amazing. I got to get me one of those. So this is called the Parrot. I'll hold this up there so you can, I'm trying to get it to focus on the, I don't know.
Well, it's the Parrot. You know the word parrot?
It's the Parrot teleprompter. So yes, it attaches to a DSLR lens, and it comes with adapter so it can fit all lens sizes.
It's cool. Very cool. Yeah, definitely worth it.
So hopefully that gives you a little introduction of how to use a teleprompter.
Fairly simple, as you can see. The technology is half the battle, and then the rest is, can you read conversationally? If not, you might consider the bullet point approach, which is actually a really great alternative, because most of the time, I think, and I'm not the expert, but you'll know enough about what you want to talk about that if you just have a few prompted bullet points, you can then go. And then conversational is, and natural is right at the tip of your tongue.
It takes practice, but yeah.
But I mean, if you're not reading it, we're not reading. Does this sound natural?
So I guess I'll give one more point on the reading it. If you're reading a script, all it takes is practice. Record one, use a teleprompter, and raise your energy, be more energetic, and then watch it afterwards, and you're going to think, man, I thought I was being That's what happened to me. Okay, so when I first started filming, I had to use a teleprompter for everything, and I would raise my energy, but then I watch it afterwards, and I was just sitting there totally dead monotone. I'm like, but that was me with high energy. So
see, I think that, and back to our point about the cons as we wrap this up, is really, it can be a con for the reasons that we mentioned, particularly the time that it takes to write it, and then if you need time to practice it, and because you're not very good at it, and the extra equipment. I mean, it just kind of depends on, I think, like a great intro to a video, you might put on a teleprompter. It's brief, it's quick, but it's also concise and to the point. It doesn't need to be terribly conversational. But the meat of your video, you might want to be more fluid.
Just depends on your style of videos, and ultimately let this be your decision maker here. What's going to help you make videos faster? What's going to help you get started?
Yeah. Well, I think that was pretty helpful.
Good.
Especially for those who have no idea how to use a teleprompter.
Did we convince you?
One way or the other.
Yeah, let us know.
Use or not use.
Are you going to be trying a teleprompter or not?
I'd be curious to hear.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks.